There are three ways in which God modeled giving and how we should model giving. First of all, God modeled giving. Our giving should be modeled after God in that God gave willingly.
Yes.
Everybody say willingly.
Willingly.
God's willingness to give his son was based on his love for us. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. In other words, God was willing to sacrifice and give his son. And the son is willing to die. So you got God the Father is willing. He gave his son. The son is willing to die upon the cross. Do you not know that qualifies him as a Savior? There are two qualifications of a Savior. You can't be a Savior, and that's why it ain't Buddha, it ain't Muhammad, it ain't Elijah, it ain't none of them, because those fellows don't meet the qualifications of a Savior. What are the two qualifications of a Savior? First of all, he must be willing. And the second one, he got to be able. Well, why come Buddha and them ain't able? Well, Buddha and them might be willing, but they ain't able. Why come they ain't able? They died. Well, what that mean? They didn't get up. I ain't gonna put my faith in no God who died and couldn't get himself up. If he can't get himself up, how in the world is he gonna get me up? Jesus proved that he's able because he died. And the Bible, the record says, early Sunday morning, he got up with all power in his hand. Jesus is willing. He says, I will. He kept saying to people, I will that thou be made whole. I came to seek and to save that which is lost. I'm willing to save lost folks if they want to be saved. Now, what was the motivation behind him being willing to do it? It was love. See, if you don't love something, you ain't going to be willing. That's why some folk don't come to church. Don't love him. That's why some folk don't praise him. They don't love him. I ain't begging nobody to praise him. I don't want you faking with me. I don't want you faking playing like you love me. I don't want you faking with him. That's why I don't cheerlead. If I say give him some praise and you don't want to give him, there's another one. Simply what John is saying, he said, because of this reason, God gave his son. Love caused God to give his son. And what is his son? His son is just what we need. God gave his son because he loved me. And God gave his son because he knew what I needed. The songwriter said he looked beyond my faults and saw my need. God knew what sin would do to you. And because God knew what sin would do to you, he had what you needed in order for you to get out of your sin problem. He sent his son. People who say they love you, say, I got to make this practical, because we got to start learning how to give like God gives. God gave because he knew your need. His motivation was love. And he knew what your need was, so he gave his son. People are not willing nowadays to meet needs of people they say they love.
All right, man.
I counsel with people. People always calling the pastor. And I'm going to just share that. I ain't going to call no names out. But people share with me all the time, especially married folks, about how they married to somebody who's not willing to give them what they need.
All right, now.
You stood up and said that you love this person. Made a commitment to this person, and then you said, what you're really saying when you stand up here and make that commitment, you saying, I'm going to meet that person's need.
All right.
What you get married for if you ain't, see, it ain't about you.
Amen.
See, when you get married, you're supposed to be thinking about what the other person needs. They supposed what you need is their responsibility. What they need is your responsibility. You ain't got no responsibility to your need. Who's supposed to meet your need? The person that you married to. But I'm dealing with a lot of people, and I experienced this a lot in my life, about people who marry you, say they love you, but not willing to meet your need. Let me deal with this one first, because this is the one I hear the most. Sexually. You talking about, you tell them what you need. They ain't willing. What you married me for? You gonna kill me if I go get my need took care of somewhere else? And that's kind of mean for you to sit there and expect somebody to not have their need met and just stay with you. Come on now. When I'm hungry, I won't eat. I won't eat. And if you don't cook, I'm going to Chickadilly. Emotionally. Do you not know you have a responsibility to meet the emotional needs of the person that you say you love? Physically?
Yes.
You talking about you love me and ain't gonna take care of no physical thing. Spiritually? Spiritually, I got a responsibility to the people I love. These women going around here looking for a man going to church. And let me tell you, that make sure you're a man going to church to understand his responsibility. Because everybody go to church. What women are saying, I want me a church going man. And you fellas, y'all, her time is.
That's all right. Take time.
You fellas make it dangerous for the pastor.
Yeah. Break it down, pastor.
You make it dangerous for the pastor. I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm standing up here talking about what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You at the house talking about what you ain't going to do.
Yeah.
And so they say, I want somebody who's going to do what he said. I'm just being real. I'm just talking about, y'all look at me funny all you want to, but we got to preach this the way it needs to be preached so that somebody can get some help. If you're not going to meet the needs of the person you standing up and making a commitment to, that you saying that you love, please leave them at home with their mom and dad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
We don't meet the needs of children. Got children, having these babies like I don't know what, but don't want to meet their need. Whether it's discipline or attention or whatever it is they need, the responsibility of a parent is to meet the needs of the children. Yes, sir. Children have no responsibility to meet their own needs. It's the parents' responsibility. So we got to go back and in order to understand God, you got to understand that your willingness comes out of love. If it's real love, then you'll be willing to meet the need. And I don't know, you can't decide on what I need. See, some you can tell them what you need, but they tell you you don't need that. Wait a minute, I'm going to sit here and explain to you what I need. But you're not willing, you tell me you won't give me whatever you think you want to give me. That does not meet my need. I'm just trying to help somebody right here. That's all I'm trying to do. Because that's giving like God gave. God didn't give something that he didn't love. God didn't give something. You think that when God gave his son, that every time you meet a need that it's enjoyable? Meeting needs don't mean you're going to have fun doing it all the time. Sometimes meeting needs hurt. Sometimes meeting needs cause you to suffer.